Well, we've got another fish on now. This will be the 9th or 10th one of the day. Had to wait a long time for this, be patient. It's a reasonable sized skimmer, 14 ounces to a pound. And I just want to talk a bit about the striking. I do strike quite hard. You've got a reasonably soft rod and you're fishing at a reasonable distance. So it's a case of striking quite hard, making sure that that hook's set in the fish's mouth. It's not a case of like when you're carp fishing, just picking the rod up and starting to play the fish. Because we're on smaller hooks, lighter line, softer rods, and it's a case of setting the hook. Well, that was a nice skimmer. Just briefly, I want to talk about the length of the hook length. And this can be varied, especially if there's a lot of tow. And what you find with tow is the fish will be one side of the ground bait. So longer hook length will get you further away from the feed and nearer where the fish are going to be hanging off. And you can tell this by how much your tip's going to go round. If there's a lot of tow, your tip will be bent right round. And definitely try longer hook lengths. Today there's not a lot of tow, a small feeder. I don't want the hook bait too far from the feeder. But again, I don't want it right on top. It's not the summer. They're not coming to the feeder and attacking the feeder. So a nice hook length, that's around about 1.5 feet, is the perfect starting point. But definitely don't be afraid if there's a lot of tow to go on a longer hook length, because this will get your hook bait downstream of where your feed is and quite often where the bream are hanging out. As you can see, I'm using a paternoster setup, and the actual link itself is around 4 inches long. It's quite a simple setup. Here at Gold Valley you've got to have a sliding feeder, and you can see that that just slides up and down the line. It's the same connection as you'd use on your elastic with a crow's foot. Just a bit of line looped over, put back through the loop and pulled tight, and if I were to break off and a fish take the hook length, the feeder will just stay where it is and the fish won't be carting the feeder around all over the lake. Although it's a paternoster, it's still sliding, and it really is a fantastic little rig. It doesn't tangle and it's nice and simple and easy to tie.